Okay, welcome back. It's time to talk sports. And Ida Peterside, former Super Eagles International, joins us this morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining us again today. A very happy one indeed. Super Eagles happen to be, well, yeah, the team for now. They've got their 100% record intact. And that shows how deep, the quality of the bench. Do you agree?
Well, I can't hear you. I'm freezing here.
Okay, because we're getting some howl back actually. So maybe, we don't know if you could turn that down, maybe from a different device. It seems it's howling back at us, but just to check now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly now. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, nice. I was talking about this victory of the Super Eagles. It's got a lot of dynamics and factors to this. So it speaks to the bench, really, because if you had about 8 changes on the day and then the quality still stood out, what does that tell you?
It just shows that we have a good team. We have a great team. And for me, I would say these are just Eagles that were let loose to fly. Our former coach, just have something that is not right with him. I think he changed our players, did not allow our players' expression to play. Things are different now. I had a chat with one of the top NFF officials, and it was obvious. He kept saying that the players were restrained from playing.
Mr. Peterside, just a minute. There seems to be another device that some sound is coming from and is distorting us from hearing you clearly. So if you could turn it down so that it will just hear you nice and easy.
Maybe I should switch off my...
Yeah, so just... I think it's better this way. So it's a lot smoother.
Okay, yes. So I think, like I said, the Super Eagles were just allowed to play. I had some informations that they were restricted, and Roy kept telling them, be careful going forward. A whole lot of things are coming out while we've not been playing well. And again, kudos to the...
So I think you need to check again. There might be some device somewhere that's not been turned down. So even if it's the TV, you may need to turn it down. So I'm sure... hopefully, you should be able to hear us directly.
Computers can see the TV in the... All my computers, I don't know.
Okay, so how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, let's try. Go ahead then.
Yeah, I think the players were restricted. The whole lot of players, they were restricted. Yesterday again, we saw, like you said, we saw 8 players come in, and the same thing, they were a little bit jittery when they started because they've been rusty. It's expected, it's a tournament, but you could see in the second half, he made some few changes, and the team gelled, and they started playing. We have a great team. We have an absolute great team, and a great manager that is managing the team, and it gives us a lot of hope and confidence.
Okay, but, looking at that team and the team, the former coach, yes, we've been reading certain articles from him. So one is just for us to ask, was the former coach being teleguided? Was he really in charge of the Eagles at that time?
Well, he was. That, again, the Nigerian factor, you need to know the culture of a team before you can really manage them. A whole lot of things will happen again. I can come out and say here on air. This were a little bit more political. Politics, there's still politics in football. How are you talking to politicians? There's still a lot of politics in football. The players you invite, who their agents are, a whole lot of things happen. And once you get it wrong, it begins to tell on you. So I think a whole lot of things were not gotten right, especially in the invitations of players. One of the things that I had that broke my heart was that most of these players would be informed, especially the players that he is agent managed, and the players that his agent managed will be told weeks before the games that they were going to play. So if you tell 9 players, 8 players, Nigeria has a game in 2 weeks' time, you are going to start. The player already does not have any motivation, and the players and other players in camp will hear that they are not starting the game. So they didn't have motivation. A whole lot of things were wrong. I think Guavo has just stabilized the team. I hear before the match, all the coaches meet, have a meeting, and he tells them, give me your best 11. And, you know, once this is brought to him in their meeting, they will take a decision who to play. So it's a collective decision. And so the players are playing. They want to play for him. They want to play for the country. So it's a beautiful thing.
You already made it clear that there are some things that happen behind the scene that no one really understands. So perhaps that's an issue that people need to understand. But at the end of the day, for the Nigerian, all we want is results, such as what we have had in the past 3 games of the Super Eagles. Do you think it is sustainable? I mean, beyond AFCON now. Because if those issues are still going to continue behind the scenes, going by the question Chamberlain asked earlier, that, you know, if the previous coach had those influences on him that didn't allow him to perform as well, and you have said that those things, you cannot even say them on air, is this current system that Coach Eguavoen is practicing, is it sustainable?
Well, a whole lot of things need to improve. Still, firstly, give the man a contract. You must give him a contract. You need to pay him well and let him run the team. This has been a challenge we've had. A lot of interferences from government, from the NFF, from, you know, you need to let him run the team, give him the confidence that he should lead the team. And again, that I've said, they wanted to bring Peseiro to come and watch the games. Thank goodness, I hear now from a very reliable source that they've told him not to come to Nigeria, but they've told him not to attend the games because it will it will destabilize the team. If you see a Peseiro walking in the hotel, all the players will want his attention. So they've asked him to hang in, not to come to Garoua until after the games. And for me, I think he does not stand a chance. He doesn't just need to come. Secondly, I needed to say this. They must tell the politicians. They must tell the politicians not to go to Cameroon. Please, we beg them, leave the team alone because they will begin to fly in with their private jets now. It always causes problems. I remember a situation in 2010. We were supposed to play against Greece. And I think it was Adenuga. You know, Adenuga came to our dressing room, to our hotel, and promised us $1 million. $1 million if we won against Greece, because that would have taken us to the next round. Nobody talked much anymore. We were busy sharing money we had not seen. We were having meetings on who will take what, who will share what, how much will go to players, and the game had not come. So we just asked the people, leave this players alone. Lock up the hotel. Let visitors promise from far. Make the promise on Channels TV and leave the players alone. Let them concentrate. I'm telling you, before the game is on Sunday, hopefully we're playing against Malawi. Yes, I think we're playing against Malawi on Sunday. You will be shocked that between now and Sunday, 50 players will be in Cameroon trying to align. No, leave these boys to play and just let the camp remain as quiet as it is.
This is you essentially sending out a message to these politicians which you mentioned, and perhaps individuals as well, to allow the boys focus. They can promise, right? I mean, it's not bad to promise, but not to get them distracted.
Yes.
Okay, so
they always call for meetings. You'll be shocked at what happens.
But I've seen a couple of people actually. Pardon me, I've seen a lot of people take pictures, you know, watching the match and all. I mean, politicians, some of them, going to watch those matches. And, I mean, you can't stop these things. But do you think, really, that the coach is powerful enough, or maybe the NFF, to say, you know what, you can't come this far. Who is meant to take that decision? And I hope that the president will not be in trouble afterwards saying it was you that blocked me from seeing the Super Eagles. So how do we guard against that? Because it's quite dicey.
It is. That's where the politics comes in. The NFF president needs support. He needs money. He needs to contest. He needs to, he wants to be there. So there will be external influences. Believe you me. The calls come. They come like crazy. And before you know it, they're beginning to call to say, we can't see some Yoruba players there. What's happening? We can't see Hausa players there. We can't see, but these things happen. Even the NFF press, yes, maybe once in a while you visit. All the board members, keep them away. You don't understand. It's like bees. They come like bees. And keep them away. The coach has to be strong. And but the coach needs the support of the NFF. That when these people come, you divert them. You must divert them. Or else, God help us.
All right, so hopefully they get the message on this one. But if you turn attention to the match now, watching from afar, so we don't go in there and distract the players, but looking at Uzoho's performance and Okoye, one is almost confused as to, wait a minute, so what do we do now with Uzoho, this kind of performance, and then, well, we've seen Okoye, you did say Uzoho seems better with aerial balls, so being there yourself, having been in that position, what do you advise we do about the coach, the keeping position? Do we go back to Okoye for the next match or what?
I've always believed Uzoho is our best goalkeeper. A lot of people, for me, it's the best goalkeeper. He deals with crosses, but they have what we call football lock. Football lock is the slangs we use that there are goalkeepers that attract pressure. These goalkeepers that attract pressure always concede goals. That has been a lot of things people are saying against him, that he will do well, the team will do well, but he will concede a goal. Thank goodness he did not concede a goal yesterday. But I think he's a better goalkeeper. But maybe the club where he's playing is affecting him. And you remember the game with the last Nations Cup, the conflict came to where they dropped him. So I think for me, it's a better goalkeeper, but that's not for me to call. It's for the coach to decide. He sees them training, knows their weaknesses. But for me, Uzoho is a better goalkeeper. But Okoye is there. He's our number one. I think Okoye will still play.
Well, as you have said, I mean, that's your own choice. There was that confusion between Besto Gedegbe and Christian Emmanuel Okala, who was better at the time. Yeah. Well, their generation is gone. But I was a little, as I told you before, I watched the goals after it has been scored in the interest of peace and stability. But talk to me about that second goal. I was a little confused. Initially, there was some confusion about whether or not it was a goal, and then the referee had to speak to his second referee to find out exactly what happened. What exactly happened there? There are those who are confused. Was it an offside? Was it not an offside? And then there was that flag by the linesman.
It's simple. It's simple. In every football match, the goalpost is looked up as a player. The goalpost. So they call the goalpost the 12th man. What happened was that they wanted to see, because you need to have two people behind the player. So because the ball hit the goalpost became a player and the goalkeeper. So they wanted to see if the player was in front of the goalkeeper or the goalkeeper was behind the player. So when they found out that the goalkeeper was behind the player, it became the goalpost and the player that made it two people, because it was the goalpost that gave him the pass. So the goalpost is looked up as a player. But now, if in the time of when the ball hit the post, the goalkeeper was behind the player, it would have been an offside. So they were looking at that goalpost thing and where the goalkeeper was when the rebound came. So in every game, the goalpost is the 12th man.
Okay. I'm honestly, on behalf of a lot of people, going to pretend as though this is very clear, because when I kept hearing the goalpost, the goalkeeper, the third man, the 12th, I'm like, okay, this is football, right? But thankfully, I mean, VAR solved that problem, and we had our goal. But I'd like you to speak to us about what's coming up next. Yes, we had a 100% record so far, but you said that every match is a final, and there are a couple of teams we can play with. I think we're meant to meet a third-place team in the coming days. So what are the options for us, and what do we need to start doing? Because the fact that we were first of the group, I mean, they say that no team is a minnow anymore, so you need to respect your opponent. So what are the possibilities, and what kind of mentality do we need to take into the next round?
Well, you need to look at your opponent. We play D3. We call it D3. Where E1, we play D3. I don't want to go into those kind of logics. But D3 is the third qualifier, okay? Third qualifier from D, which is Malawi. You would have, if we had played a draw, we would have played not Malawi, we would have played Cape Verde. But because we won, we're going to play D3, which is Malawi. Now we have to look at the Malawian game. This is the first time they're playing at the AFCON. They're very dangerous side. We saw them against Senegal, score a cracker of a goal, which was disallowed. We saw them get a penalty, which was disallowed. And there's so much jubilation in Malawi, but we are Nigeria. We are Nigeria. We are the Super Eagles. I say this because that's what they told me when I was growing up. That gave me the confidence to play for the national team. We must win. It is a must win. There's no excuse not to win Malawi. Now, when we beat Malawi, the picture changes. That is where the kata comes, because as at that time, there will be 4 teams left. And there are 4 dangerous teams that we can beat and can beat us. Number 1 is Tunisia. Number 2 is Cameroon. Number 3 is Morocco. And Egypt. The way it is going, Egypt, the way it is going, Egypt will play against Ivory Coast. Now, if Egypt plays against Ivory Coast, then you understand what we're saying. It will be Ivory Coast or Egypt, Nigeria. That's if we do win Malawi. So this is the tournament proper. And I think the coach is already practicing penalties, because knockout stage, anything can happen. We have a good team. We have a good coach. We have a good setup. And the momentum is with us. That was why we needed to win yesterday. And I think they would have told them, you don't break the momentum. We didn't break the momentum. We won beautiful game. The momentum is on us. So it's expected that we will win Malawi. If we do win Malawi, then there's one important game. I told you it's 6 games. One important game, which is the semi-final. If we ever get to the finals of the tournament this time, we'll win it.
But what happens to rhythm? I know you said we needed to maintain the momentum. Yes, we did with that victory. But if you make as much as 8 changes, how does it play in the minds of the players? Doesn't it affect the rhythm eventually when they all come together for the next game?
That's why we must give the coach kudos. I think what he did in the second half altered a lot of things. It is not easy. These players have been in camp for close to 3 weeks now, 4 weeks. And match situations are different. The first set of players played 2 games. And in those 2 games, you get your rhythm to play. You are no longer match rusty. So to bring 8 new players, the players were playing under pressure. You are told you're playing for Nigeria. And the first match I played for Nigeria against Zambia, I did not sleep that night. Only God helped me. You see, so the fear comes in, the pressure comes in. That was what happened to them. So I must give them credit for to have won that game yesterday. It's unbelievable. It means we have a pool. We have a pool of 10 players that we can just close our eyes and dig in. And a lot of people gave Sadiq stick yesterday. I want to congratulate him for scoring a goal. It's not easy. It is so much not easy. Sadiq for me yesterday needed a lot of help and support. The goal he scored just changed everything.
And, it speaks to the role of the fans, both on and off the pitch. And when I say off the pitch, I mean social media as well. Because, yes, he got a lot of stick yesterday, and I can say so. It was quite good for him to score, and then he was substituted. And that takes me to my next point, Mr. Peterside, which is the conversion rate. I mean, yesterday's match should have been maybe 5-0 or thereabouts, and this is with all due respect to the team. And the question is, how can we just tweak that part such that when our defenders do their job, the midfielders feed the strikers or the wingers, that we have, because it has something it does to the team when, you know, your build-up of play ends in something good, a goal or a very good opportunity. How can we tighten that part such that we don't waste opportunities? Because sometimes they come very far in between.
It has some disadvantages that you come in and hit the team 4-0, 5-0. The next game, it affects the next game. You come in as a superstar. You come in believing so much in yourself that you might just be punched out. I think yesterday was beautiful. We struggled in the first half. And then a whole lot of us saw weaknesses, and the coaches would have seen weaknesses where they can now work on. But if you just come bang, 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 4-0, 5-0, the day you meet a tough team, you will be taken by surprise. Now, our left back was challenged, our right back was challenged, our central defense was challenged. So you need to see what they do under pressure. And to have come back to win 2-0 in that very difficult game, I think they did very well. You know, they did very well. It's the rhythm. The rhythm is coming. There are matches you win 1-0 and you go and celebrate. You know, if you win a semi-final 1-0, you're in the finals. You win the final 1-0, you got the trophy. It will get harder. Remember, the Equatorial Guinea felt if they got a point, if they won us, 3 points would have given them an advantage to get into the quarterfinals. So we have to let the players, you know, Yoruba say farabale, let them calm down, and we will get there.
Well, we'll try and calm down and wait until the next game, hoping that at least those changes that were made will put all the other players on their toes and ensure that, look, if you slip up, somebody else will just take your space. So we're hoping for the best. Well, thank you very much indeed, Ida Peterside, for your time today.
Thank you so much.